Good morning, everyone. I just realized the fan is on. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. I'm gonna keep it on because I'm actually gonna melt in here. I think it's like at least 85 degrees, like 28 degrees Celsius inside my apartment right now. Honestly, today's episode could have gone so many ways. I've been thinking a lot. That's usually when a lot more podcast episodes start, brewing up in my brain. I decided instead to talk about something a little bit more recent because it's very fresh in my mind. But essentially, I went on a date last week and I don't know why I'm acting so excited about it because I'm not going on a second date with this person. But I did want to talk about whether or not I should have and what you guys would have done. Even though I already sent him the message and said, yo, we're not going on a second date, I still was debating for an entire day. I don't often debate whether or not to give somebody a second chance. It's usually pretty clear to me, black and white, yes or no. But with this person, it was so 50-50 that I had to consult a lot of my friends and really think about it all day. And I went to bed thinking, yeah, we're going to go on a second date. Woke up thinking the same thing. Then in the afternoon, I started feeling weird about it. And it was still in my head. I didn't really feel good about going on a second date. And then by nighttime, I was like, okay, this is not going to happen. We're not going on another date. And so I sent him the message. But you guys will get all the details in a second. I would love to hear what you guys actually think because this is something that's really hard for me to figure out since so many people say that it's really hard for them to find out everything about a person, and sometimes the feelings develop during the second date even though there was nothing in the first date. From my experience, I usually don't give them a second chance. Even if the first date went well, I can kind of tell that I don't think I'll ever like this person. And I can't really explain how I know, but I just do. And I get this feeling in my stomach, and I know. But before I get into it, hi, low buffalo. High, something good that happened in the past week. Low is something bad that happened. And buffalo is something weird. And before I get into this, I want to say thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. I literally asked in my last episode, I was like, you guys better commit and please follow the podcast. If you're watching several of them, I have no idea why you haven't decided to follow me. I don't know who follows me or subscribes to me unless you guys comment. So if you guys don't want me to know who's following who, don't worry, I don't know. So please just help a girl out. Cannot believe it. It's so crazy. And I really hope you guys are loving these episodes. I love doing this. Okay, so hi. Yesterday, I went river rafting, which is super duper random. Mikey's gone river rafting before, and she said she loved it so much. And I've seen a lot of people do it before, but I've never tried it myself. And we just planned this really spontaneous last-minute trip to Pennsylvania to go river rafting. And we found out when we got there that there was actually no guide in our boat. So we had to completely navigate ourselves. And it was really only Mikey that's had experience doing this. And there was 3 guys and me not really knowing what we were doing. But surprisingly, we did such a good job that the people who were watching over us, they complimented us. They literally said that we did a good job. And they were like, oh, you guys should consider becoming your own instructor, camp person here. And be on the lookout for that vlog. I vlogged it and I did on my GoPro and I'm super excited to show you guys. Okay, so for my low, I have been on the hunt for a purse that is large enough to fit all the shit I carry with me. You guys don't really know this because you really only see me, in certain aspects. You don't really see the full version of myself. But I'm 99.9% of the time carrying a bag that looks like it's about to rip, that's hanging on by a thread. And I have several bags that are like this and are in this kind of condition because I've mentioned before, but when I buy bags and use them, I don't take it lightly. I like abuse them. Everything that I can fit that I need for the day will fit in that bag. It's been really annoying because I keep using tote bags as my main type of bag, and the fabric of a tote bag is really rough, usually canvas kind of fabric, and so it really like leaves insane like bruising and marks on my shoulders whenever I wear them, and it's really, really painful. But also these bags are just really, like I said, falling apart. And so I've been on a hunt for like a really nice durable leather type of bag so that it is more gentle on my shoulders and, you know, isn't falling apart as much. It's going to eventually, but I found this one purse, guys. I've been in love with this purse, and I saw it on this girl's Instagram, and I was like, I want that so bad, but it's 390 USD. It is gorgeous. Like, it's huge. It's like a 16-inch length, and I think the height of it is like 13 inches. It's giving like a mom purse, and I love it so much. I love the color. I love the fabric, and it's just really darn cute. It is just a little too expensive, and so I was like, okay, I gotta find some kind of dupe for this, some other purse that's a little bit cheaper that I really like. So I found this one bag from Lmao, and I was super excited. So it was only $50. Bought it really quickly after I did a little bit more research, and in the description of that product it says that it can fit a 15-inch MacBook, which is exactly what I have and need. After I purchased it, I was like, is it actually gonna fit my laptop? Like, even though it says it looks smaller, and I'm really shocked that it can fit it. And so I looked at the dimensions after I bought it, and it's looking like it's a little too small, and I don't think it's going to fit my MacBook properly. So that is my low. I just feel stupid for making the purchase so quickly. And yes, I can return the purse, but I have to pay for shipping to return it. And that's like, what, $10 that I could have... Well, I guess it was $5 to ship it here, and it would be $10 to ship it back. So I just lost $15 for no reason if it doesn't fit. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that somehow, physics-wise, it works out and I can fit everything that I need to fit, and it's a great purse and it comes soon. That would be great. But if not, then I'm going to return it, and I might just buy that big freaking expensive purse. Yeah, anyways, my buffalo. So I actually found out that a bunch of my college frat friends are in New York City, and they all reached out and were like, hey, we want to do a little reunion. And so I met up with them last week, and it was just so weird in a good way. It's just like seeing everybody. It's been about 3 years for me since I've seen everyone and fully talked to them. I feel like a different person. We're in a different place in our lives. I'm in a different place in my life. It was just so weird to like see everybody and just kind of touch base on like how everyone's doing. They really knew me as like a very, very different person. I didn't party. I didn't curse. Guys, I didn't say bad words when I was in college. So they knew me as a very like wholesome, very boxed in kind of person. I dressed all the time in hoodies. I never did my makeup. I was just very, very, very different. Yeah. But anyways, let's get into the podcast. I'll tell you guys all about the date. The whole gist, you guys know. Now, all about the date. I actually, before I got to the date, I decided to record a POV of how I was feeling before the date happened so that you guys can see what I was going through in my mind. So I'm going to put that here if the audio isn't crappy. I haven't heard it yet, but if it's complete shit, it's not going to make it to this cut because I don't want you guys to suffer. Hi guys, I know the audio is going to be really bad, but I'm walking to my next date. It's been a while since I've gone on a date. It's pouring rain out right now. We're meeting at a bar. this guy. He's 5'10". He's black and he works as a financial officer. He studied in the UK, which is kind of cool. And I'm like meh about it. I think I'm just approaching it always as meeting a friend, because then I can approach it as very casual and things will be a lot more natural. And I mentioned this in one of my podcasts, but it really helps for me and my social anxiety to pretend that the person will already like me, which is why I like to pretend that they're already my friend before I've met them. I really do not want to drink tonight, but drinks are a good idea because it's not that much commitment like a dinner is, and I can leave easily if I need to. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so when I actually got to the bar, he looked exactly like how he was supposed to. He came off really cool, kind of confident, and I was like, okay, like this is going well. And he dressed really cute, so I was like, okay. And the conversation flowed really well. He and I had a lot of like things to talk about, and he like started talking about like friendship drama. I don't even know how it came up, but it ended up relating to friendship drama that I've had before. So we just started talking smack about these friends that like did us dirty. And that was really fun because he was really vibing with me and like meeting me in the middle of like how wrong we felt. And you know, you can never bond more with somebody else when you have like a common enemy. So it was really fun being able to do that. And we also started talking a lot about exes and things like that. And this is where things started getting a little funky. So first off is the way that he talked. There's like something off. I felt something weird. Like he was talking a lot slower. And like sometimes when I would say something, he would respond, but what he would respond with kind of didn't connect properly with what I had said before. So it kind of made me confused. Like I felt like there was some kind of disconnect with the conversation, but it would only happen a few times. But it happened enough for me to be like, this is kind of weird. Like something's off. But I pushed it aside because overall things were going well. And then he started talking about his exes. And he was saying how pretty much his exes were crazy. That they were really overprotective and they got jealous very easily. And so in my head, I didn't say this to him in the face, but I said, it's weird that you would have multiple, like almost all your girlfriends be kind of crazy, well, overprotective, because that makes me think it's not a them problem, it's a you problem if all of them have a common thread of being overprotective. Because I'm like, are you too smooth? Are you too flirty? Like, what are you doing to make them act that way? I was thinking that as he was telling me these stories, and I was like, what does that say about you if you know, are dating these kind of people? And so just kept talking to him about that. And, you know, I shared my side of things and what I was looking for, what he was looking for. And it seemed like it was going really well. And then this bar that we were at just happened to turn into a dance floor within like 2 hours of the date. And we were like, okay, like let's move over to the dance floor, because it was just so loud in the bar area that we just started having to scream, and it was just getting too much. So we were like, let's move to the dance floor. And it just happened to be that at this bar, nobody wanted to dance, even though the music was so good. They were playing like 2010, 2015 hip hop throwbacks, and it was just so stinking good. Like, I was looking around at everyone like, why isn't anyone like even bobbing their head? But I don't know, you know? And so nobody was dancing, and so it was just me and him, and he was really vibing with the music. And so he just starts freaking dancing. And I love dancing. And I'm like, okay, I will dance too. So I was like kind of feeling it out. But I was also feeling very exposed and insecure because the dance floor was empty. And so it was just me and him. And I was starting to get really shy. So I was like, oh my God, like I actually like cannot dance right now because I do well dancing around a lot of other people and being surrounded and like not feeling like I'm the center of attention. I really want to hide in the shadows when I'm dancing. But this just made me feel like I was right in the spotlight because it was just me and him. And he was really confident. And so he was going full out. But I was like, I can't do this. I want to be that cool person that can. But everything in me right now is screaming no. So I was like trying to talk to him while he was still dancing. And he was mouthing and singing all of the words. He knew every freaking word, guys. And imagine someone singing. And then like the other person trying to talk and being like, oh, like, what happened to that story? Like, cause he didn't finish his stories. So I was like, oh, so what happened? What were you saying about this person? The other person just like still dancing and still singing. And I was like, ha 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 ha. Okay, I guess I'll just keep dancing because I was like, he's ignoring me. And he definitely is feeling it. And he definitely wants to like show off he can dance and like can sing and whatever. So I just like kind of let him. And it was just kind of awkward for those moments for like about an hour. Yeah, so like the day ended up being like a 3.5 hour date. The other thing that I didn't mention is that he did also say that every week he goes to the club by himself on Thursdays and Fridays. And he goes to a particular club. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, I don't want to be judgmental or anything, but I'm like, why do you go to the club by yourself so often? Like, are you trying to hook up with people? It was just like an interesting thing that he does. And then all of this together made a lot more sense once we were on the dance floor because he was so flirty and smooth. And it's not the kind of flirty and smoothness that's kind of nice. It's the kind of flirty where it was like crossing the line. And I was kind of like, you're too smooth. Like, you're too good at this. That you definitely really experience. And it comes very easy for you to act like this around people. And when I saw him acting that way, I was like, oh, okay. I get it now. This would not probably work out because you're probably like this with other people. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that mess. I don't want to deal with toxic things. He also mentioned that he's very passive aggressive and I can be as well. And I don't know if that's a good match because I like people who are a little more confrontational to like kind of pull me out. Like, I want a good balance. And if he's really passive aggressive, and he said that he likes to match the level of passive aggressiveness of the other person. So if I chose to be really passive aggressive, he would match it, and it would be kind of like a revenge situation. And I don't know if that's like really what I want to go into. I'm trying to stick with healthier relationships, especially when I have a lot of things going on in my life that I need to give my full heart and attention to. As much as I want to give everything to a relationship, that's really hard to do if the relationship is really rocky and if the person demands a lot from me. And so I need something in my life that's a lot more simple. And so after all of this talking and thinking, I still wanted to go on a second date with him because I was like, this could work. I could see a lot of potential. I could see myself liking him. He's a really interesting person. I left that date thinking I really could go on a second date with you. The next day, woke up feeling the same way. I was texting him like, a second date was going to happen. And then in the afternoon, I was talking to some friends. And after more thinking, I was like, okay, this is too much debating. I think I should just not go on a second date. And here are the different reasons that my friends told me that like really stood out to me. And this could help you guys if you're ever like in the middle of deciding whether or not to go on a second date. But one of my friends said she has this thing where she doesn't feel like she should go on a second date unless she's actually excited. And I definitely wasn't excited. Excited is not what I would say. I was thinking about that. another friend was telling me, if you have to think so much about it, don't go on the second date. And also, after talking to her, I was like, I spent almost 4 hours with him. If I couldn't make a good judgment of whether or not to go on a second date, and if I couldn't feel much from 4 hours of spending time with someone, like literally talking to them, having drinks with them, watching them dance, like seeing them really comfortable on the dance floor, and I still couldn't like this person, I don't know like what else to say besides like you shouldn't go on the date. So all of that together, and I was like, okay, I'm not going on the second date. But I wanted to hear, like I said, what you guys are thinking, because I've heard a lot of things from a lot of people who will always go on a second date even if they don't feel anything on the first date, because the first date in their head is where they feel out a person to just make sure that they're normal, they're decent human beings, and they have some common interests. And then from there, you can build up on it and like flirt and like not address all the basic things of like, who are you as a person? How did you grow up? Your background, things like that. Then there's other people that are like my friends that are, if you didn't feel excited about it, don't go on it. So let me know what you guys think. But yeah, I ended up not going on the second date with him. And honestly, I'm actually way happier about it, because that's something I don't need to stress about. And the fact that I'm saying that I would have been stressing about it just shows that it's not a good idea. I definitely wasn't excited about it. So yeah. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I love doing these podcasts, and it means so much when people message me and say they really enjoy it, or that an episode in particular touched them, or it influenced them to change something about their life. It literally means the world. Like I'm like shocked that it can even have this kind of impact. And so I would really appreciate it if you guys like, rate, share the podcast, all of those things to get the word out there. It would be honestly the dream to be able to do this full time and to dedicate so many more resources, love, and attention to all of this, because it means the world. And yeah, and have an amazing week. Mwah!